I didn't quit my job because I had a plan. I quit my job because I could not ignore what I felt like I was being called to do any longer. Um, so, some of you know I quit my job. Today's my first Monday, um, jobless. So, um, kind of wanted to run through why that is and what my plan is, what my mindset is, and maybe it'll make sense to you. Maybe it won't, but maybe you'll take something away from this. Maybe you have felt similar and just been afraid to take that leap. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to kind of start um, by saying thanks, first of all, for tuning in here. Thank you. A lot of you guys that kind of already knew I was quitting my job were already being supportive without really knowing my plan. But um, if you followed me for on any of my social media platforms, um, over the past couple of years, I've been talking a lot about just health and nutrition and sobriety and all these things. And I really, really want to take it a step further and, pursue that however I can. I was looking at becoming a life coach, and that's kind of, I guess, the big reveal. That's what I want to do. But everything that I've read about becoming a life coach kind of um, points toward having to build your reputation online and stuff, which I kind of, you know, played it in reverse, not really on purpose. I was just talking about my journey and all these things online, and I would have, friends or, you know, people that know me reach out kind of that were, had questions about sobriety or just in casual conversation, seeing people out and about, and they, seem intrigued by just, I guess, my changes and stuff. I'll try to not get too off track here, but just a quick summary of kind of, I guess, what got me here. Um, Basically, I was in a relationship. Well, first of all, I played music in my early 20s for a living for 5 or 6 years. I had a band, played all kinds of festivals with a lot of bands. I don't really talk about it a lot, but I've played with pretty much any band that I was looking up to at that point in time. Like, I played festivals with Whiskey Myers and Casey Donahue, Vanilla Ice, Stony LaRue, Cody Jinks, Cody Johnson, all these guys before they made it huge. I did a Battle of the Bands thing in the same round as Co Wetzel, which obviously neither of us won that thing, and he's the biggest thing in Texas, which is pretty inspiring. It's like pretty awesome to see that. I still focus on music. I don't necessarily, that's not my dream to make it big. This is more kind of my dream. So I say all that to say I kind of got deep in the drinking and the partying thing back then, and then got in a relationship and kind of went back and forth between, heavy drinking and sobriety. And I was sober for a couple of years in my mid 20s, and um, yeah, had a relationship go south, like all of my relationships have. I was always sort of, the desperate one, and I don't think like that's gonna get you anywhere or give your partner really confidence in you. So that's a big change for me. Now I'm like, I don't know if I'm so happy and at peace. I don't know if I'll ever um, get into a relationship. It would take someone really special and that really adds value to my life, which, man, is a huge lesson. That's one thing I feel like people could pick my brain on and really gain some insight on that, because that's a huge life change. Like, to just find happiness in yourself. I always thought I needed someone to kind of fill a void, but um, God and just purpose, and taking care of yourself, and that void will be filled for sure. Um, so yeah, I was in another relationship after that, after a little while, and got engaged. Was together for, you know, 4 years maybe, and almost the same scenario played out. And there was a lot of red flags in all my relationships. I'm sure there were red flags from them towards me. But like I said, I was the one that I think they could all say I would have never given up on the relationship. I might not have changed anything, but yeah, it took a lot of that stuff, and then um, after my engagement ended, I started, drinking a whole lot, just kind of because I didn't drink a lot in that relationship necessarily. Um, but yeah, I would just go out, even like work nights, like probably at least 4 nights a week. I would just go to the local bars and stuff and get pretty toasty, and um, yeah, like yeah, pretty scary sometimes, just waking up in your bed like, how did I get here, and not really remembering. And yeah, after a good few months, probably maybe even, yeah, close to a year of doing that after my failed engagement, I just decided, man, I really want to change my life. This is not sustainable to live my life. I'm not really happy. Feel empty. I was like chasing, not chasing women, but I was, I guess, in a way, like I was not very tuned into what I needed in my life or anything like that, and I, you know, tried tried a few different little flings here and there, and um, yeah, ultimately I just had to decide, like, none of those were going great and fulfilling, and just had to take time and just realize, man, I need to just quit drinking. And I kind of initially set a goal to quit drinking for 30 days, and probably just a few weeks into it, I started feeling great. I was a little bored at home. You kind of get isolated because people know you quit drinking, they kind of stop hitting you up, and um, but yeah, I got used to that. I kind of got in the swing of things. I got diagnosed with celiac disease a few years ago, so I'd already kind of changed my diet. But even once I quit drinking, I really dialed in more on just, um, you know, taking care of myself, eating right. Um, and yeah, just started feeling really good. And I'd kind of been walking every day at work on my lunch break. That was a huge part of my life. Like, a big change was doing that every day for at least like 45 minutes, almost my whole lunch break. I would walk. I would eat on the clock while I was working, prior to my break, and then on my break I'd just walk and listen to Joe Rogan podcasts or things like that. And man, I'd started noticing a lot of like spiritual signs, like I would see the number 444 all the time. Like within a day, I'd see it multiple times. Um, and just like there was a day where I told the story before, but I was in my office, and we didn't really ever listen to like Jimmy Buffett in my office like that. I don't remember that ever coming on. I've worked there for 8 years, and one day it came on. It was a Pirate Looks at 40, and I was like, man, my grandpa, this is his favorite stuff. I remember telling people in my office that, like, I like this, it's a good day. And I'd been sober for a few months, and probably like 4 months. And yeah, I went outside for my lunch break walk, and I saw, it was the first, I remember I've been walking every day, and I started seeing yellow butterflies all around. Never before I'd seen this. Like every step, there's just yellow butterflies. And another thing, it's a very industrial like area, like complex, and not a lot of like grass and stuff. And yeah, still yellow butterflies all over. So of course, I've been in the horoscope thing and all kinds of getting pretty deep into stuff like that. And I looked up online like yellow butterfly signs, and it's like, oh, it could symbolize a loved one pass on, whatever you can find meaning for it to mean whatever. But I was like, wow, Jimmy Buffett now, the yellow butterflies. And then I got on Facebook or something, and I seen my aunt had posted that it had been 10 years since my grandpa had passed away. And that just smacked me, dude. Like, what in the, like, I had never felt like this is some weird, like, everything is connected type of, like, what in the world? Like my grandpa or God has given me signs, like, you know, and I wouldn't probably at that point necessarily even said like God has given me signs. I felt like, but something was happening, and that kick started me deep into this, like looking for signs and everything. Like I'd find feathers on the ground. I have hundreds of feathers that I used to collect just during that time period, and this was only just like a little over a year and a half ago, probably 2 years ago, and I got heavy into it. I started listening to like um, tarot readings. It wasn't like witchy type. It was very like love and light. You know, here we're gonna do a reading, and I started listening to it kind of every day and seeing it, things they talk about relate, and checking my horoscope every day, all these things, and yeah, it was just it was pretty cool. I got like a pretty, you know, I would say during that time period, I had a spiritual awakening for sure. Like my whole view of things changed. I got very comfortable by myself and just connected to nature and being out here. That's why I'm sitting out here. Like, just, I feel I was going to do a walk and talk thing, but my dog just didn't want to come inside. And it's just beautiful out here. And so I decided to do it here. But yeah, I just got very, you know, I'm taking great care of myself. I'm sober, quit nicotine, you know, doing really good, like eating very clean. And then, yeah, I just always watching educational stuff on YouTube and stuff about just the pineal gland and spiritual signs and Alan Watts and spiritual awakenings, just looking into all this stuff. And it was great. Like even Christ consciousness, like a Kundalini awakening. Like I was deep into it, like learning about all these things. And yeah, journey was going pretty good. I did start feeling kind of like, you know, confused. Like I never really got the clarity on everything. Like there'd be a little, you know, in my horoscope or in one of those readings or whatever, I'd get some, I'd connect to it. You know, there'd be some pretty mind blowing things that would really connect to what was happening in my life. But there would always be like, it would be open ended almost. Like you never got the full clarity or resolution. And didn't bother me too much. This is kind of in hindsight, I realized that. But yeah, I kind of, you know, was playing guitar in a band. Like everything was going pretty good. And then, but like I said, there was always that just a little like lacking something. It was like the best life had ever been. Like I felt complete, but just a little maybe spiritually like not complete, like pretty, you know, pretty tuned in and connected like with nature and stuff. But kind of had just, I guess I grew up as a Christian, but I had kind of forgotten like to keep God in the forefront, you know, like I was, like I said, Christ consciousness and all these things, thinking like, thinking some wild stuff. And then somewhere along the line, there was a week or two where like a guy at my work had been out for a while, like weeks, and I don't think he believed in God. He definitely never talked about it. And he came back from work talking about the show The Chosen, and like he believed in God, talking about getting baptized and all this. And this is just a few weeks of him being out. I don't know what kicked him in that direction, but it's pretty cool. And then like that same day, I had a very long time friend that I'd known since first grade, like um, who grew up also, and she would probably love to tell you about it too. But about she grew up, her mom did like a lot of witchcrafty type stuff, like I don't know the terminology, like Santeria type, whatever, but tarot cards, all that. Well, she's a huge Christian now, not the mom, but, or maybe the mom, I don't know, but my friend. And she randomly that same day or maybe the day after messaged me and was like, hey, is everything going all right? You know, in my morning prayer, God put you on my heart to pray for you. Well, and also like, few days before, I was getting like random messages from a literal like witch type lady on Facebook. Not even my friend. I don't know how she found me, but saying she could read auras and all this stuff and saying there was a lot of envy around my life, like because she saw I was a positive, good spirit, and I had negative energy, like basically like trying to drink. Which maybe she did see that stuff, but um, she was like, "I need a picture of you, some weird stuff," and I was like, "No, lady, I'm not doing that." So, but it was like kind of like, whoa, she's like, that's kind of crazy that she's randomly saying that to me, but. Yeah, and then I mean that whole week there was crazy stuff like this, like God things happen, and my another buddy asking me to come to church with him. Who like I didn't even know he went to church, and my receptionist at work asking if I'd be interested in filling in for guitar at their church, and that turned into like a good stint of me, like a few months of me playing guitar at church and getting paid for it. Like that's pretty cool. And yeah, a lot of things like that. And I started like really getting it deep into, not deep into, I started realizing like, oh my gosh, like God is calling me back. Like there was no denying it. Like God sees me kind of getting off the path here. And another buddy that I would kind of run into every few weeks. He kind of came from all this same stuff as well, and now he's like one of my biggest influences as far as like gardening and just his walk with Christ. He practices the Sabbath every week and real discipline with that. Like read scripture, can quote scripture. Like that's where I want to get. I want to get so well versed in scripture I can just quote it when it relates to what I'm talking to someone about in life. Anyways, yeah, that kind of spiritual awakening and God calling me back, like made me realize, oh, all the butterflies, like even right now, there's every time I come out here, there's a yellow butterfly. I see it every time, and it reminds me, God is always sending you signs. It's from God. God created everything. The pineal gland, all this stuff is from God. Um, so now I know that, and I pray every morning. My relationship with God has grown just like crazy. Doing pretty good and all that, and then yeah, went through a um, period at work. I just kind of started getting kind of overwhelmed at work. Like, I had been doing the same thing for a little while. My job doesn't have a lot of room for growth, but I also wasn't like getting a raise in like 2 years and over 2 years, and felt like I was working really hard and doing really good, like almost like at least once or twice a week. I would have people like, dude, what's your manager's email? Or man, you really like made my day. Like people, I genuinely could tell like they're really glad that they got to talk to me and that I helped them with their problem, um, with their equipment or whatever. But uh, yeah, and it just kind of few months. My dog, one of my other dogs, this is Zeus, but Ozzy, who I had since he was a puppy, like since you could first get a dog, like 7 or 8 weeks old. He got this crazy rare cancer. I was doing anything I could to save him. He was 6 years old, I imagined having him at least another 6 years. But he had got this super rare cancer, and I tried everything. I'm like, oh, yeah, ivermectin, all that. I was looking into all the holistic stuff, and yeah, we did everything. He had surgery to remove it on his hip, and on the inside, it spread to the lymph nodes. They couldn't get it all, which I knew going into it, but then it like busted all the stitches and had a huge opening with like Manuka honey wound dressings that had to get changed every day. It was like $500 every other day, or sometimes I'd have to go back every day because he wasn't eating or what. In total, I probably spent over 12 grand on that. Luckily, I had the situation I'm in life. I'm able to save a lot of money right now, but yeah, that was one of the toughest things in my life, like dealing with that and running him around, like just being so careful and cooking his food. I switched my dog's diets, and I was like cooking him grass-fed ground beef, organic veggies. Like I would steam them, and all these eggshell powder and milk thistle and dandelion root, and yeah, all these things. I was just really doing everything I could, and yeah, he just got worse and worse, and grew back before the surgical wounds even like healed up. It was already growing back through the surgery site. Pretty brutal, to be honest. And I still, I'll cry every day at some point. Like, friend at work's husband painted the most perfect picture of my dog. Like, my receptionist at work, shout out Karina. She's like my second mom, my work mom, and she had that other coworker's husband paint, and it's like hung up in my room. I always feel this. I'll look up at it, and it looks like the eyes are always looking over us. But yeah, I went through all that, man. Some hard stuff, and that was what really strengthened my prayer. Like, I started praying a lot during that time, and just yeah, it carried me through for sure. I was reading scripture a little bit here and there, and that's when I watched the whole Chosen series. Was I was working from home, and but yeah, that was tough, and my faith has really grown. I guess was the point of all that, but I've been through all these hard things, and um, yeah, it all comes back to God. I kind of got sidetracked there, but yeah, now I know. I kind of my work was getting overwhelming. I was working from home. That's where I was going, um, and yeah, I knew I needed to make a change. That made me realize how precious life was. Like, on top of like feeling undervalued and not getting a raise, and just the desk job thing did not feel right to me anymore. Like, I wanted to make the most of life, and I at this point I have been so disciplined, like more than I ever like. Quit nicotine, quit drinking, quit everything. Like, and I don't even hardly eat sugar. Like, the most sugar I get is this coconut water, um, which is like 2 or 3 grams of added sugar. 3 grams added sugar, or my 90% dark chocolate, which is 2 or 3 grams. Other than that, I don't eat added sugar. Like, I eat a lot of fruit. I eat sugar, but it's natural sugars. Um, yeah, real discipline. Like, I don't eat pork or shellfish. I know people will say like we're not under that biblical law anymore, but the animals never change. Like, pork is still the most parasite infested, and shellfish and like catfish. So I follow the biblical, I guess, ways of food and stuff. And we got a fig tree over here from my great grandparents. This is my great grandparents' property where I live, and got a fig tree they probably planted in the 70s that I pruned for the first time probably since the 90s. It hadn't been touched, and I cleared it all out a couple months ago, and it's freaking rocking and rolling. But figs are mentioned all throughout the Bible. So yeah, like olive oil. I'm real strict about my diet. Like, I don't eat out ever. Like, maybe 2 or 3 times in a year, and that's like when I kind of have to because I'm on vacation, and that's what we're doing. But even then, I'll eat like a steak, and I'll tell them like, you know, no, nothing on it, no, just maybe salt and pepper, um, or like I'll get salmon. Just make sure it's just not cooked in seed oils and all that. Just, um, but other than that, dude, 2 or 3 times a year, maybe I'll eat out, and it'll be something like that, or a salad at a minimum. But I really don't. Like, I might even not ever eat out. But I'll go out. I don't mind. Like, my whole relationship with food has changed. I do like every 3 months, I do a 72-hour fast, just water only for 72 hours. And it's one thing I've learned is you got to incorporate prayer. Prayer and fasting together is the only way. And just to kind of make it a thing between me and God. I don't have to tell the world, although I have like told people that I do that. But I'm still doing it. I'll do that forever, every 3 months. Um, but yeah, just kind of where I'm at, just real disciplined. I've worked out. I used to do 100 push-ups every day at work, which spiraled into like developing a little different workout, different movements, and then Then I bought a weighted vest and a 20-pound kettlebell, and now that's what I use every day, like 5 days a week. I got a different workout, and it's so easy. Like I'll get more in depth with that, but in total, it's less than 20 minutes, my whole workout, and it makes a huge difference. Like I have muscle, I'm in great shape. Like I'm not gonna show off, but I'm very happy with, like, I've got muscle like I haven't had since high school, and I'm probably stronger and more in shape than I was in high school, and I'm 34. So um, yeah, just real dialed in sobriety, nutrition, health, my mindset, and all the taking care of my nutrition and eating right and getting sober and stuff has that kind of, I feel like, made room for God to, like, for me to connect with God. Just um, so it all is kind of compounds on each other. Every little step in the right direction compounds, and you want to do take it another step further and add all these little things. And if you just stay consistent and don't overwhelm yourself, before you know it, it's just your lifestyle. And yeah, like I'll go to family functions and not even eat anything, like, because I only eat organic produce. I only eat like grass fed or, like pasture raised, eggs, organic chicken. Like I'm very picky on all that, and it matters to me a whole lot, because they spray so much crap on everything nowadays. It's not worth it to me. But um, yeah, all that to say, I have built such a strong foundation in my life, and there's so many other people living their dream and doing YouTube and all these things, like making money on social media off the dumbest thing, like just dumb luck or some goofy thing they did that went viral. I'm just trying to connect with people and have a platform to share these kind of things, and inspire hope and just motivate people to change their lives. I think I've got a lot to offer just from experience and what's worked for me. I've always been big on lead by example. Do as I've done, not as I say. But um, I've done it all. I'm not going to sit here and talk about things that haven't worked for me or that I haven't done myself. And I'm not, I say I want to do life coaching. And there's a lot of people, when I started looking into that, it's like, oh, you got to be a YouTuber to be a life coach and kind of build your reputation, and get people to start wanting to learn more from you. And then you can provide a way for them to get on your schedule and do calls or Zooms or whatever. And I'd really like to get to a point where I can just share my stuff for free on here, and if I make money off YouTube, that'd be awesome. And then hey, call me up. I'm not going to charge you. Just hit me up. I would love to help you out, or put you on the schedule. um, I don't know. Clearly, I wouldn't have. I quit my job. Like, obviously, I'm not trying to get rich. I don't have a job lined up. Like, yeah, I've saved up a good chunk of money, like, to fall back on, and I've got music to fall back on. I'm still playing some gigs here and there, which is great, and I love it. Like, music. My relationship with music throughout all this has changed too. Like, I use music as like a tool to spread positivity, and you know I realize how much the people there watching feed off of your energy and stuff. And I just try to stay positive and keep the vibes up, and spread joy and engage with the people. And um, yeah, so all that to say, I've built a really solid foundation in my life. There's never a better point that I could imagine, where I could try to take this leap and really really just trust God. I'm really not afraid. I mean, yeah, I kind of worry about money, but like I said, I've got a good chunk saved up, to fall back on. And if something really happens, I got a 401k that's pretty good. And um, down the road, I got some ESOP shares. I don't know how much that'll be. My company's a few years behind on our statements for that, but employee-owned company, I got some shares from. But I trust God, man. I don't really think I'll have to worry too much. I really enjoy doing this. I really enjoy talking to people, and I've been told by a bunch of friends and family and stuff, like, throughout the last few years, but like, oh, you need to write a book, or oh, you could do a podcast, and or you need to share your testimony. It's so powerful. And a lot of times it seems like when I'm talking about like relationship struggles to somebody, like things I had been through with relationships, like no way, because it was like literally the same scenario. Like every relationship I've had since like middle school, I got basically like screwed around on. And I'm not saying I'm innocent or anything. Like I had a lot of frustration, and I was very desperate, and just, yeah, no, I'm a whole new person. I can say that. I'm like totally, I can't, said it the other day, I can't imagine being that person, or like, honestly, like all the red flags I ignored, I feel like an idiot. It's like I knew all these things, like I feared these things from the start. And a lot of times what you fear comes to fruition. And yeah, I just have wisened up a lot. So I'm excited about this path. I want to help people. Um, Hopefully, if you're getting anything out of this so far, like I said, I really am going to try to push the YouTube thing, like doing this is my first like longer form videos. It's kind of replacing my podcast dream. I think this is better to just do stuff like this. I'll do some walk and talk deals, but I kind of like this. This is kind of spur of the moment to do it right here like this. Hopefully it turns out good. But yeah, if you get anything out of this, man, I'm going to be pushing the YouTube. So if you would subscribe to this channel, I don't want to be that guy, but it does help, like liking and commenting and spreading the word. Share it with your buddies. Like, and if any of you guys watching this, or if you know someone that is struggling just like to push through something in life, like I feel like I would be a good resource to just maybe a quick phone call. Like I'm down to just, and not even for money, just to like, because I want to help people. Like just kind of encourage them. It's because you change from within. Like literally, you change by how you eat, what you watch. Like my social media timelines, my algorithms are dialed in, like mostly like biblical, motivational stuff like that. There's no really like explicit or even the funny stuff. I don't come across a lot of that anymore. Like I just quit engaging with that because it doesn't benefit me. The music I listen to has changed. Like it's either like worship music or just some Americana type. Just I don't listen to rap anymore. Just what you put in, really feeds your mind, and you gotta put good stuff in, and with everything. So I'm really trying to share that and just make the world better. I know they're like, you're only one person, you can't change the whole world, but I mean, look at Joe Rogan. This guy influenced the whole presidential election, basically. Like, I don't think I'll ever be that influential, but even a tenth of that, even 100th of that, even 1,000th of that, like I'd be doing pretty good, and changing a lot, helping change a lot of people's lives, and that's the goal. Yeah, it takes a lot of faith. Once I made that leap and that connection, like back to God, like he called me back to Him. But yeah, I even want to get rebaptized now, and um, yeah, just I think that this is the time for me to really pursue that. And just to be straightforward, I'm probably gonna like rely on music gigs, but doing this right here, what I'm doing right now, is really like I enjoy this. I enjoy talking about it, and hopefully it leads to, like I said, having phone conversations with people, or even like eventually maybe building a team of people that have this similar mindset that want to do the same type of thing somehow. I don't really watch TV anymore either, like at all. Like I said, I watch educational YouTube videos about gardening, or faith, or stuff like that. I still watch some Joe Rogan podcasts and stuff. I watched the Dallas Stars. Today is the playoff game number 2. Hopefully they can do better than the game 1. But yeah, that's really, even that, I feel guilty sometimes watching the Stars game. I'm like, what is this? It's like, I feel like, think back to the Gladiator days. It was just a distraction, just, part of the system. But I love some Dallas Stars hockey, but yeah, my discipline is just I could not imagine being more disciplined. Obviously, like I said, with my nutrition and all that, but just feels like I'm really aligned, and I'm trying to make my job, I guess, align with who I've become. I've got that foundation, and I just feel called to share all these things and honor God. Even like with my songwriting, I plan on kind of incorporating my faith more, and like keeping in mind when I'm writing songs, like this honoring God somehow, or is this helping people? Um, you know, I am really happy where I'm at in life. Especially like today is my first Monday with no job, and I've got it all mapped out. I had a whole schedule typed out, printed up, incorporating, still doing my workout and all these things I used to do at work, incorporating my walk. I ended up having a dentist appointment kind of last minute because my dental insurance expires in a few days. So since I quit my job, so I uh, scheduled that real quick, and that's what I did this morning. So it kind of threw my schedule off, but really prioritizing getting this video done and kind of updating all you guys, and um, yeah, just want to encourage you guys to you know understand that you can change your life. Like, you don't have to be who you are. You don't have to be stuck in the same routine every day. You don't have to keep the same job. I always said to people at work, because there's a lot of unhappy people, it seemed like, that weren't thrilled about our job and how things played out. And there's a lot of people just in all jobs and places in life that are not thrilled about it. And I used to always say to people like that were having, spells like that, like, you're not a tree. I don't know where I heard this, but you're not a tree. You're not anchored to the ground. You can move, and there's plenty of jobs out there. But I encourage everyone to really like change from the inside out, and really just develop a foundation and habits and discipline and consistency, and don't overwhelm yourself. It's little things, like I said, that compound, and just do one thing at a time. If you don't do this already, like you don't work out or none of that, I started by just walking on my lunch break 40 minutes a day. You'll get close to 8,000 steps. That's a big, if you get over 5,000 steps a day, that's great. Look at the health app on your phone and it'll tell you. My doctor told me about that, and I started looking at it, and I'm like, oh, wow. So I was getting over 5,000 because I'd started walking every day, and that's a huge marker for longevity. So start walking. That can be your first thing. If you want to get in shape, walk 40 minutes a day. Take a month off from drinking. That you'll lose probably 30 pounds if you do those two things for 1 month. I bet you'll lose 30 pounds, and you can thank me later. Cut out sodas. Drink water. Drink coffee instead of putting all that creamer in your coffee. If you want sweet coffee, add honey. Um, I've learned to drink coffee black, because otherwise all coffees taste the same. If you're just loading them with sugar and crap, like, what's the point of getting different coffees? I get organic, like mushroom coffees, and organic, um, this cocoa haze coffee. It's organic, and I just drink them black, and it's freaking delicious. It's like whiskey, like different whiskeys. I guess it's kind of an acquired taste, but do that. Drink water, drink black coffee, drink a coconut water if you like it. This is a kombucha, great for probiotics. It's got 9 billion living probiotics. I drink one of those every other day. I drink matcha with grass-fed milk, organic. But yeah, drink water, man. I drink like almost a gallon a day of water. Eat a lot of fruit. Eat eggs, eat meat, eat real food. Stay away from the fast food. It takes me 20 minutes to cook. I cook every meal that I eat. Like, um, I eat like 2 big meals a day. I eat. Here's another big one that's real easy. Eat within a window. Outside of this window, only have water. So mine is 10 a.m. is when I first start eating, and 7 p.m. is when I stop. Like, And between that, I can do whatever. Because I eat real food. I eat good stuff that's good for me. Plenty of fruits and vegetables and meat and protein. A lot of eggs. A lot of, ground beef, ground turkey sausage. Like I said, no pork, no shellfish, none of that. That's kind of a personal opinion thing. I think, you know, I think you should cut it out. But um, yeah, just those are just some easy things you can do. Just eat within that window. Outside of that window, just have water, and you'll get used to it, man. Like I said, I do 72-hour fast. Yeah, it's hard. Start with the 24. If you're interested in doing that, look up the benefits. Start with the 24. Just have water for 24 hours. Maybe a pinch of like Celtic salt or sea salt or something. If you start getting a headache or something, but yeah, do that. I was trying to do that once a week, and then I was like, after a while, I was like, I'm gonna switch to a 48, every 3 months. Well, after my first 48-hour fast, I was like, ooh, I want to do a 72-hour fast. So, 3 months later, I did 72, and now that's I've probably for the past, year and a half, every 3 months, I'm doing a 72-hour fast, water only, a little pinch of salt here and there, and by that third morning, I feel great. I'll eat lunch at noon and then start the fast. Like I finish eating by noon when I want to start my fast. So it's like noon, and then noon 3 days later is when I can eat again. But that morning I wake up on that third day, 6 a.m. or whatever, and I feel freaking like wired up and locked in, like laser focused, highly tuned in, like spiritually, like, because I've been praying and stuff. And when you fast and pray, it's almost like your connection to God is stronger. It's pretty cool, and there's a lot of benefits. Autophagy, like it reduces your cancer risk, like to a crazy degree. But yeah, those are just some things you could incorporate, and I'm here to talk more about all these things. If you got questions, like please comment on here. Please interact with me. I'll respond to anybody. Like I said, if you're really struggling and you want to comment or reach out on Instagram, The Preston Scott Project, Facebook, The Preston Scott Project, wherever. You can reach me, DM me. If you want, we can set up a phone call. Like I said, not to charge you. But I'm going to keep doing one video a week. Like this is kind of just the introduction, kind of where I'm at, where I'm coming from, what my mindset is. And just kind of really just saying, man, I have a lot of faith that things are going to work out. I've actually also had it's always been a dream to have like an awesome studio and produce music with some like awesome bands. I've got a chance to work from my little home setup, which is not anything fancy, but I've got to record some awesome songs with some awesome local artists in here. And when I kind of started sharing that I was leaving my job, one of my favorite producers, like in the state, like really in the world, like that I've been lucky enough to record with a few times, hit me up because he saw that. He's like, man, I've always got good vibes from you, and um, you know, if you ever want to freelance out of, because he's got a separate studio in his studio, he's like, you can freelance out of here, just you'd have to bring your clients here and stuff. And so I'm going to be meeting with him soon, probably talking about doing some of that. Like I know God is got me. Like I'm not worried about it because there's so many things that have been happening in my life, like kind of like that have kind of pushed me in this direction, and I'm just trusting it and going with it, man. And it's a yellow butterfly. Um, so yeah, man, y'all stay tuned. Seriously, subscribe if you would. Tell your friends, tell your family, share it. Like I said, if y'all got anything you want me to talk about, the other videos are going to be more like structured, more like, maybe one about nutrition, and maybe one about my workouts, just easy stuff. Maybe do some voiceover, kind of, or some B-roll, showing some of those things. But yeah, man, just whatever you like to hear me talk about, I want to know whatever. Whatever feedback you got for me, I would love it. And man, just encouraging you all to take control of your life, and it starts from within, like I said, and little changes compound and make you want to do better and better. So hopefully you got something out of this. Hopefully you enjoyed it, man. Thank you guys for all the support so far already, and I think I'm gonna go on a long walk here. It's my first day of freedom, and yeah, man. God bless you guys, and remember, you don't change overnight. You change daily. Love you. Peace.